us an update on what's going on? What you can, anyway, I know this.
The whole matter's been reported to the Attorney General's office. They are conducting an investigation. There's been some allegations of misconduct by several different people. I have viewed the video. I don't like what I see. There's some other parts that I can't speak about that occurred involving signs. Nobody can be taking the signs. Law enforcement, highway officials can take the signs if it's obstructing sight distance and whatnot, or obstructing traffic. There was also some other reports of signs being damaged or taken out and tossed over the snowbanks. This stuff's got to stop. And, if anybody knows anything about any of that activity, just please call the station. I'm not really going to get into it. We have a meeting tomorrow with a member of the AG's office on the situation.
Do I understand it's been an ongoing investigation?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any further comments or questions?
Is there a requirement for content on the sign?
Yes, there is.
And what would that be?
You have to, if you're opposing or support of a candidate, you have to put on your sign who the advertisement is paid for and that it has not been authorized by any candidate.
And if you're a candidate, what has to be on the sign?
You have to have your name and who paid for it, according to RSA 664-14.
Okay.
I have one comment on the, there's a bill that amends RSA 664-17 that came in January of 2012. It's House Bill 459. And it specifically states, and you can get this off the House Bill off the General Work website, no person shall remove, deface, or knowingly destroy any political advertising which is placed on or affixed to public property or any private property except the owner of the property, persons authorized by the owner of the property, or a law enforcement officer removing advertising, political advertising placed on or affixed to any public property may be removed by state, city, town maintenance, or law enforcement personnel. So that's about all we have to give you tonight until this gets done. Yes, sir?
With all due respect, most of what you just said is already there in 664:17. That's already current law, most of that, so. It's a law enforcement function, only.
I think the chief's on top of that, so I think we got our bases covered. Any other comments from anyone?
I do. Fred, do you have anything you want to address us, Fred, and let us know what your thoughts are on this?
No, not right now.
Okay. Amanda, did you want to talk about this and tell us what you thought?
No. I don't understand why we have to, but I really have nothing to think about it. If you're gonna put a sign up, put your name on it. It's really that simple. There's no reason to hide.
Okay.
Did I miss something? The other side.
Joe, I guess this is probably a question for the chief. There was some discussion on whether they were political signs or not. Is that part of the discussion with the AG's office too?
Most likely that will come up.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And Sharon DeWitt. Just to be clear, if it says vote for Sharon DeWitt, but I don't say who it's paid for by, is that a properly noticed sign then under the RSA?
I think, it depends on what's on the sign. I'm not, this is not a candidate sign. This was making a statement as to what somebody has said, and I don't believe there's a problem with that. I think that's something that probably the chief can give you more info once he gets together with the AG, but it's a different, when you're quoting somebody, unless it's a misquote, it would be a little bit different than if I have one of my posters up and say, hey, because I'm running too, so I shouldn't be commenting on anything. But there's different types of political signs, one with your name on it and vote for me or re-elect me, and then the other one is, in this particular case, the one I could see was a quote that somebody had made. And I think think I prefer to have the AG handle that, that's, you know, his jurisdiction, but I just feel that at this time that, you know, the community probably has enough problems, and I just feel bad that we have to bring this on just before an election. So, as soon as we have information, I will sure that the chief can, and if you want to talk to him from time to time, if he has some updates on it, I'm sure he could fill you in on it. And when we get the final results on it, I'll be able to announce it here for you.
Can you clarify, should there be a fiscal agent on the political signs?
I don't know what type of sign, you know, that's not my expertise, and I'd rather not comment on something I'm not sure about. I'm not sure what the difference in the signs are, whether it's a quote somebody is whether it's a.
If a sign says vote for me,
Yeah.
should it have a fiscal agent on the sign?
Yes,
According to the RSA.
that part of it, we can agree on.
RSA 664-14, section 7 says, any advertising which is not political advertising because it does not advocate the success or defeat of a party, measure, or person, but which mentions or depicts a candidate shall include the statement. This advertising has been paid for by name of sponsor and has not been authorized by any candidate. So if you mention someone's name, you have to say who did it. You cannot hide behind a cloak of anonymity. You do have the right of freedom of speech. You can't hide behind anonymity.
Well, I guess we'll, yes?
Sorry. And I agree absolutely with that. But again, the signs that are out for vote for Sharon DeWitt, vote for Dick Snow, vote for Amanda Soares, vote for Carlton Roby, I have looked at those signs and they do not say who paid for those signs. I could buy signs that say vote for Amanda and pay for those signs. So just because her name is on the sign doesn't mean she paid for it. So I think that to me, it seemed very improper for a select person to be acting on behalf of the town, pulling up signs he deemed inappropriate while putting up signs that was missing the exact same documentation that he was pulling the sign for.
Richard, you have a comment?
In response to that, to the best of my knowledge, he was not allegedly acting on behalf of the town, because I am not aware of any vote by the Board of Selectmen that had to do with signs in the town of Candia.
But I do know I have that physical note on my signs. I think that's one of the requirements. I don't know, this is a little different situation where we're quoting something, so I think we just have to let it play out.
Joe, just one other question, thanks to actually Chief McGillen. Is the meeting a public meeting with the AG's office, or is it?
Private.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna, legal, confidential, or whatever it is. I don't remember the exact term, but it's not a public meeting.
No, it's not.
Okay.
I think there are two other things you might want to think about in all of this. Most of the political signs up around town are on private property. So I think they're probably exempt from having to be said paid for by if they're on private property. However, the signs that are being discussed were on public property, and there's another RSA that says that you cannot put advertising of any kind up on the public thoroughfare. So it's a complicated issue.
Yes, it is. It's very complicated. That's why we're not sticking our nose in it. I mean, we're gonna let the AG handle it. That's what we pay him to do. It's like anything else. Unless we go through it once and find out who screwed up and who's gonna get hammered or not hammered, we won't know. And I think that's our position here right now is to let the proper authorities handle it. It's their duty, and I think they'll do a lot better job. And until we hear that, I think we could talk and speculate on it, but I don't think that's a good idea. Yes, sir.
Yeah, back to 664-17 again. The law clearly states public property or any private property. There's nothing wrong with posting on public property. The law just goes on to say if you're posting on public property and it's improper, i.e. illegal property, then it can be removed by, quote, a law enforcement official. So there's nothing to bar a sign on public property. But there is something to bar somebody from ripping that sign up if you happen to not be a law enforcement official. Again, I'll read that again, 664-17.
Anybody else have any comments? You just wave them to me, or?
That's it.
Okay. Sounds good, Pat. Okay, seeing none, our next scheduled meeting will be March 11th.